reimagined form of warfare, the regulation of autonomous weapon systems is relatively straightforward.
Yeah. My Lords, I declare my interest as a member of 2 recent select and scrutiny committees on AI and as a founding board member of the Centre for Data Ethics and Innovation. Together with others, I congratulate Lord Ravensdale on this debate, and it's a pleasure to follow Lord Houghton. My Lords, we're at a pivotal moment in the development of AI. As others have said, there's immense potential for good and immense potential for harm in the new technologies. But the question before us is not primarily a question of assessing risk and developing regulation. Risk and regulation must both rest on the foundation of ethics. My fundamental question is, what is the government's view of the place of ethics within these debates and the place of the humanities and civil society in the development and translation of ethics? In 1979, Pope John Paul II published the first public document of his papacy, the encyclical Redemptor Hominis. He draws attention to humanity's growing fear of what humanity itself produces, a fear revealed in much recent coverage of AI. Humanity is rightly afraid that technology can become the means and instrument for self-destruction and harm, compared with which all the cataclysms and catastrophes of history known to us seem to fade away. And Pope John Paul goes on to argue that the development of technology demands a proportional development of morals and ethics. And he argues this last development seems, unfortunately, to be always left behind. Professor Shoshana Zuboff makes a very similar point on this time lag much more recently in her book Surveillance Capitalism. She writes, "We've yet to invent the politics and new forms of collaborative action that effectively assert the people's right to a human future. And these new structures must be developed not by engineers alone, but in rich dialogue across society. It's society together that must ask the big ethical questions. Will these new technologies lead us into a more deeply humane future towards greater equality, dignity of the person, and the creative flourishing of all? Or will they lead us instead to a future of human enslavement to algorithms, unchallenged bias, still greater inequalities, and concentration of wealth and power, less fulfilling work, and a passive consumerism?" My Lord, five years ago, the government established a Centre for Data Ethics and Innovation to explore these questions. The centre made a good beginning, but was never established on an independent legal footing, and seems to have slipped further and further from the centre of the government's thinking and reflection. One of the hopes of the CDI was that it would provide an authoritative overview of sector-led innovation and have a coordinating and oversight role, a place for bringing together public engagement, civil society, good governance and technology. May I therefore ask the Minister what the government's plans are for the CDI in the current landscape? What are the plans for the engagement of civil society with AI regulation and ethics, including with the international conference planned for the autumn? Will the government underline its commitment to the precautionary principle as a counterweight to the unrestrained development of technology because of the risks of harm? And will we mind the widening gap between technology and ethics for the sake of human flourishing into the future?
My Lords, it's a great pleasure to follow the Right Reverend Prelate, and I would also like to